Yes, I would think with young people, with young teenagers, that must be a pretty hard sell to getting them away from just performance, wanting to eat performance all the time. Yeah, I think you probably also have to talk to them about diet and physical fitness and so on, that they really need to think about things like this as well.
But the funny thing, you'd be amazed, because first we thought this is going to be really hard. And my associate teacher said, well, if I get all these young students and their heads is in the clouds already, we're going to be a superstar. We're amazed. Probably word passes that we ain't fooling around. So I'd say 95% of the students that come in this age range, they really want something. And they're really motivated to work. And they say, like, well, here I am. Tell me what to do. And I'm willing to listen. And it's very, very seldom that we have long-term discussions about, no, you got to stay away from smoking, whatever subject it might be. I find that we attract young students that seriously want to work, and that's absolutely great. Totally.
That's interesting. Seriously wanting to work. That's the key. That's the key answer there, because I think sometimes some young people have these idealisms where, okay, they want to be a superstar, and they try to take shortcuts, and they think being a superstar can come overnight or so. And I think probably from what I'm hearing from what Green Voices is doing is that they're also making the student realize that it's not just about stardom, but it's really about living your life in a world of music and enjoying it and having an opportunity to make a living possibly in this field, and not necessarily as a star, but maybe actually being able to make a living as well.
That's part of the discussion. We ain't holding anybody back from being a star. If you're going down this road, this is great. And I keep my fingers crossed for every skilled person that's running through our studio. And like I said, if I can be of any support to hook you up or connect to anybody, more power to you. But I believe the way we work and the consistency of our work, my children's work, and my colleagues, my associates, shows them that there's a lot of enjoyment, in any direction of music. Teaching can be just as, fabulous and fulfilling, which kind of comes towards me more and more. I've been on stage 25 years. Now for the past 5 to 6 years, I get more thrill out of teaching than I could possibly get on any great stage on this world, because if I think, where would I want to be on what stage, nothing much comes to my mind. I've been around, seen things, I really enjoyed it, I learned a lot, and I look back very thankfully that I had the opportunities and chances to work with great people and be there. However, now I get a lot of kicks out of seeing my students up there performing, or hear them on a CD, or see them on TV. This is totally great, and I enjoyed it a lot. So they see there's all these possibilities out there, and you don't have to be rich and famous, which can be really scary at times, which I bring to them sometimes. I said, well, you want to be a superstar, this is wonderful. What is it that kicks you? Is it the money? Is it the fame? You want to be out there? Or, just sometimes kick back and think about the negative side and aspects of that also. There's so much pressure on you, so much expectation on yourself. Not only your record firm, but also all this, just think about it, because it takes a lot of character and person and stability to go through this. I said, and there's so much more in music than money and go through this pressure. I said, like, you're the one that's, having the Vogue magazine, reading about this new hibbity-hobbity stuff. It's like, would you like your face on there? Just think about it. It's an aspect also of being a star. And a lot of times you're just used, and then you go up and through the chimney, smoke up, and that's it. And funny thing is that, as it is now, I can only speak from now. My students, and I have about 25 that age range at the moment, weekly, and none of them would even consider going to German Teach the Superstar. That's like, not for me, thank you. I wanna, what did one of my favorite students said, like, oh, what did he say? Oh, I'd rather be dead than go there. They have to carry we don't have to come to this bed. So, they don't, he said, another person said, she's really great too, and she won the vocal competition night last year, and she says, oh, that nonsense is not for me. I want to seriously work. I was like, I want to do something. I want to show who I really. That was impressive, because she's only 13, and she said, I want to be able to really show who I am.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And I said, like, wow.
Very interesting. That person says they want to be able to show who they are. That's very important, because I find that a lot of young people try to emulate other big stars. You know, I see competition sometimes, and I see people trying to be a Christina Aguilera or Alicia Keys, but they may not have the instrument at that point to do that.
Okay.
What can you do to influence these young people as far as trying to help them find their true selves?
Well, you inspire them to continuously study and learn the instrument. And then you just have to help them, because when they're 12 or 13, I said, you listen to this, Aguilera, whatever, whoever you mentioned, and I said, also, listen back to yourself. We record it. And then try to be honest with yourself. You're not there. You're missing another 10, 15 years. And that is nothing personal. I said, a voice has to grow. A voice has to grow into being more mature. An instrument has to develop. I said, there's so much material out there that would suit you greatly. And we just pick something else. And of course, as a teacher, then your mind has to be open, and you have to search around. Say, what could she like, or her, him, and fit as well at the same time. But as you know better than me, there's a lot of musical theater that you could pick, which is great for vocal training, good for hearing, and also fits a child's voice.
Choosing material, that's very important. Choosing, and especially in a competition, because in a competition, you want to go further in the competition.
Right.
And it's so important that the contestant in that competition chooses the right material. It's very easy to choose something wrong that is not right for you, and you're not going any further in this competition. So choosing material is very important, and I'm sure you can help that person with some tips with choosing the type of material that fits that particular person's voice.
Yeah, well, I had the experience also in the preparation of the vocal competition night that, of course, they're not all my students. Fortunately, we have a lot of input from outside. And then I asked them to suggest 2 or 3 tunes not for the casting, that's their first step, but then for the night, for the final, so to speak. And you wouldn't believe what kind of crazy tunes I get. And I was like, are you sure? And the funny thing is that a lot of times, I have to admit that it's so, that they choose the wrong tune after all. I tell them, that's not a good choice. You know, for a girl your age, you just simply can't do. You don't have the low ends for it. And or they sing in, I had this one girl, well, I don't want to, they choose like a man's material too.
Yes, yes.
And that is not working for a 12-year-old. It's just not happening. Because everybody automatically says, like a very well-known tune, like automatically goes, don't quite get it, you know. So, yeah, it's very important, and then a lot of times it's the wrong choices, and a lot of times I hear, you gave me the wrong tune when they don't win, and I said, that's a heavy load I have to carry, I guess.
So, there you are. That's Joyce Green talking from Green Voices Institute here in Munich.
Thank you very much, Kevin Rogers, for having me.